Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're embarking on a rather peculiar journey through Britain's architectural history. But we're not looking at the grand cathedrals or stately homes you see on postcards. Oh no, we're diving into the world of architectural blunders, the magnificent mistakes, and the downright bizarre buildings that, for one reason or another, just didn't quite work out. From wanky skyscrapers to bridges that go nowhere, Britain has a surprisingly rich history of construction chaos. These aren't just failures. They're stories of ambition, miscalculation, and sometimes sheer stubbornness. So, grab your hard hats as we excavate the forgotten tailies of Britain's most unusual architectural blunders. Let's start our tour in the heart of London with a skyscraper that literally made headlines for all the wrong reasons. I'm talking about 20 Fenchurch Street, but you probably know it by its more infamous nicknames. The Walkie-Talkie, or the Walkie-Scorchy. Completed in 2014, this top-EV tower was designed by the renowned architect Raphael V. Its unique curved facade was meant to maximize floor space at the top, creating a distinctive silhouette on the London skyline. However, that beautiful, reflective curve had an unforeseen side effect. It acted like a giant concave mirror, focusing the sun's rays onto the street below. In the summer of 2013, during its construction, this solar death ray became alarmingly powerful. Reports flooded in of plastic parts on cars, like wing mirrors and dashboards, melting. A reporter even managed to fry an egg in a pan placed in the beam's path. Local businesses had their doormats singed and paintwork blistered. For a few hours each day, a small patch of London was transformed into a veritable hotspot, with temperatures soaring. The developers had to quickly erect a temporary screen to shield the public, and eventually, a permanent solution was found by installing a sunshade of horizontal fins, or brise soleil, on the southern face of the building. The Walkie-Talkie is now a famous landmark, complete with its public sky garden. But its early days serve as a scorching reminder of what can happen when physics is overlooked in the pursuit of a striking design. Now, let's travel north to a much older, and arguably more tragic, tale of architectural ambition gone awry. We're in Edinburgh, Scotland, looking at what appears to be a classical Greek temple sitting atop Calton Hill. This is the national monument of Scotland, but to the locals, it's better known as Edinburgh's disgrace, or Edinburgh's folly. The story begins in 1816. Fresh from the victory over Napoleon, a group of influential Scots decided to build a grand monument to commemorate the Scottish soldiers who died in the Napoleonic Wars. The plan was incredibly ambitious. A full-scale replica of the Parthenon in Athens, right in the heart of Scotland's capital. It was intended to be a symbol of Edinburgh's status as the Athens of the North. Construction began in 1826 with great fanfare. The foundation stone was laid, and 12 massive columns began to rise, a powerful statement of intent. But then, the money ran out. The fundraising campaign, which relied on public subscriptions, had fallen woefully short. By 1829, with only the columns and a portion of the base completed, all work ground to a halt. And that's how it has remained for nearly 200 years. Various proposals have been put forward over the decades to complete it, including turning it into a gallery or even a parliament building, but none have ever come to fruition. Today, the unfinished monument is a popular tourist spot, offering stunning views of the city. It's a beautiful ruin, but it stands as a permanent, poignant symbol of grand dreams and insufficient budgets, a folly that has become a much-loved, if slightly embarrassing, part of the city's skyline. From a folly on a hill, let's move to a problem on the water. For this, we head to West London and the infamous Hammersmith Bridge. Opened in 1887, this Grade II listed structure is a beautiful example of Victorian engineering. A suspension bridge designed by the celebrated Sir Joseph Bazan. For over a century, it served Londoners well, carrying cars, buses, and pedestrians across the Thames. But here's the blunder. It was designed for the horse and cart traffic of the 19th century, not the multi-ton double-decker buses and heavy lorries of the 21st. Over the years, the bridge's delicate cast-iron structure has been put under immense, unforeseen strain. Microfractures began to appear in its pedestals. In April 2019, after decades of increasing weight restrictions and temporary closures, the bridge was closed indefinitely to all motor traffic. Then, in the summer of 2020, During a heat wave, the cracks worsened dramatically, and it was closed to cyclists and pedestrians as well. It became, in effect, a beautiful, multi-million-pound sculpture spanning the Thames, but a completely useless bridge. But in the collective failure over decades to fund its upkeep and recognize its limitations in the modern world, the spiraling cost of repairs has become a political hot potato, with local and national government arguing over who should foot the bill. As of now, the future of Hammersmith Bridge hangs in the balance, a stark lesson in the importance of maintaining our historic infrastructure. Our next stop brings us to a more modern and mind-bending architectural curiosity. A listed St. Peter's Seminary near Cardross, Scotland. This isn't a blunder of function in the traditional sense, but a spectacular failure of context and timing. Built in the 1960s, it was hailed as a masterpiece of modern Brutalist architecture. Designed by the firm Gillespie, Kidd & Goya, its cascading concrete terraces and striking use of light were meant to create a modern, progressive space for training Catholic priests. It was bold, it was visionary, and it was almost immediately obsolete. By the time it was completed in 1966, the very nature of the Catholic Church was changing. The Second Vatican Council had introduced reforms that favored priests training within communities, not in isolated modernist fortresses. The number of students entering the priesthood also plummeted. The seminary, designed for 100 students, never came close to being full. It was expensive to heat. The concrete began to leak, and it was located in the middle of nowhere. After just 14 years of operation, St. Peter's Seminary closed its doors in 1980. It was used as a drug rehabilitation center for a few years, before being completely abandoned in the late 80s. Since then, nature and graffiti artists have reclaimed it. Its skeletal remains, a cathedral of concrete and decay, have become a pilgrimage site for urban explorers and architectural enthusiasts. It's a tragic story of a building praised by critics but rejected by its users. A magnificent modernist dream that turned into a concrete nightmare. Finally, we come to a tale of two towers, connected by a bridge to nowhere. Welcome to the Humber Bridge, linking Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. When it opened in 1981, it was the longest single-span suspension bridge in the world, an incredible feat of British engineering. So where's the blunder? Well, it wasn't in the engineering, which was worth. The blunder was in the economic justification. The bridge was built with the promise that it would unlock massive economic growth, connecting the ports of Hull and Grimsby, and revitalizing the region. The problem was, the traffic forecasts were wildly optimistic. The bridge was approved based on projections that it would be carrying tens of thousands of vehicles a day. In reality, the numbers were far, far lower. For decades, the bridge operated at a significant loss. The huge debt from its construction hung over the local councils for years. Tolls were high, which further discouraged people from using it. It became a classic white elephant, a hugely expensive project with limited practical use. While the bridge is undoubtedly an iconic landmark and traffic has increased over the years, especially after tolls were halved in 2012, it never delivered the immediate economic revolution that was promised. The Humber Bridge serves as a powerful cautionary tale for any government or council planning a megaproject. It shows that you can build a perfect piece of engineering, a wonder of the modern world. But if you build it in the wrong place, or for the wrong reasons, it can still be a monumental blunder. So there you have it. A tour of Britain's architectural follies, from the Walkie-Talkie's solar glare to the lonely columns of Edinburgh's disgrace. These buildings tell a fascinating story. They remind us that even the most brilliant architects and engineers can get it wrong. They show us that ambition needs to be tempered with practicality, and that even our failures can, in time, become beloved, iconic, and strangely beautiful parts of our landscape. What are some of your favorite architectural oddities? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into magnificent mistakes, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more adventures into the strange corners of history. See you next time.